If you are getting your GLP-1 agonist medications from a compound pharmacy, either Tirzepatide or Semaglutide, this is a video you cannot afford to skip. Let's get into it. My name is Dr. G, and I'm an internal medicine physician in Hollywood, Florida, and I specialize in lifestyle modifications and patient education. And this video is a patient education video, specifically for patients who are getting their medications, their GLP-1 agonist medications from a compounded pharmacy, and or would like to know more about how exactly do our medications get to market, pricing and availability, which is very, very important. Why are your medications so sporadic? Some medications are very hard to get. You get them for 2 or 3 months and all of a sudden it comes off and then it comes back. The prices go up and down. What's going on here? But let's talk about GLP-1 agonist medications, what's happening right now. I'm filming this today, October 8th, 2024, and a couple weeks ago, I posted a video speaking about how Eli Lilly has decided to put the medications that have been, the Zepbound and mounjaro, Tirzepatide specifically, how it's been now put into the vials to alleviate the shortage. When they did that, they immediately took the Tirzepatide off of the shortage list of the FDA shortage list. There's a database, there's a list that's a running list. And anything that's on the shortage list, meaning there's not enough out there to supply the demand, specifically in the United States, it gets placed on this shortage list, and then compound pharmacies are allowed to make a similar active ingredient locally and sell it to the general public because there's a public interest there. There's something that needs to be treated. The medication is great. The active part of the medication is great, and it works, and the FDA has already approved it. So now the compounded pharmacies can fill that need. Once the medication comes off of the needed list, the shortage list from the FDA shortage list, then they're no longer legally allowed to make the medication. So what happens is the manufacturing companies basically send out cease and desist orders to all of the compounded pharmacies. Well, they send them out individually, but they have an army of lawyers out there that are sending out these letters to individual compounded pharmacies like, hey, stop making this medication. You're not allowed. It's ours. We are making it and we're filling the need. Great. That's awesome. But the problem is there's absolutely always a lag between the time that they take it off the list until the time it's actually ramped up and the medications are available in the actual, pharmacies that you go to, the big box pharmacies, or Walgreens and CVS's and all the mid-level pharmacies in between, Walmart's and everybody else. But the problem there is that people who are on maintenance doses for either obesity or diabetes, because we know that these GLP-1 agonist medications treat both individually, obesity or diabetes. We've talked about this many times on this channel, how GLP-1 agonist medications can treat both diabetes and obesity in the same patient because they often come together. Obesity drives diabetes. So we have a problem here, because there's going to be a lag. Once they pull it off the market, now these individual compounded pharmacies who have been serving a great need, the good ones, the ones who are making truly effective medications that are safe and supplying it on a steady basis to, I would say, millions. I don't have any stats to say that, but man, there are a lot of people out here who are actually benefiting from the compounded pharmacy space with specifically the GLP-1 agonist medications. So let's scenario. In my office, if I have patients who are on for weight loss, and I have weight loss and diabetic patients who are on the compounded pharmacy medications because the access. They don't like the fact that through their insurance, when they go through their insurance to go get it at the big box pharmacies, they'll go for 2 months, have a 2-month supply, and then it'll be 2 or 3 months before they get the next dose. So the response that they're looking for is super, it's up and down. And no one wants that either for their weight loss journey, their lifestyle modification journey, or for their diabetes treatment. We don't need, no one wants to have interruptions in their care. It's just not right. You shouldn't have any type of interruptions in your care, no matter what. It doesn't matter what we're treating. We don't want interruptions in care because outcomes we know are going to be just as inconsistent. So we have a problem, a big problem, especially if you are already on these compounded pharmacies. This video is for you. And if you're going to start, be very mindful that in the very near future, the compounded pharmacy, if you're going to go for the compounded space, right? You're not going to go through your insurance. You're not going to go through the big box pharmacy. You're not going for the branded medication. If you're going to go through a compounded pharmacy, either online or in the office like we do here, you're going to need to stop and think about how you're going to take care of this. How are you going to, there may be an interruption in your care. So talk about this with your provider. You should be getting it from a provider. Like I say, do not get any medications from the lady at the dollar store. So you're getting it from your doctor, you're getting it from an online service, hopefully. We have, we've talked about one of them here on this channel. Look for it. I've got a relationship with one of them, and they do good work. But the point here is you must have a plan in place. What is your plan? How long do you plan on being on this? How long can your compounded pharmacy supply you? How much supply can you get ahead of time? Can you get a 2 or 3 month supply in your hands so that you can plan out, hey, for the next 3 months, I'm going to do this, get my lifestyle modification. You may have to ramp it up a little bit, or understand that the weaning coming off of the medication is going to be a little bit sooner than you want if you cannot transition quickly through a medication, through the big box pharmacies on a branded medication. In summary, what am I saying about the GLP-1 agonist medications in general? GLP-1 agonist medications in the compounded space is in jeopardy. Eli Lilly is starting to send out cease and desist orders, even locally here in South Florida, which has been very, very consistent with the compounded pharmacies in this area in South Florida have been very, very good. There are several that are good, right? Very good and doing a great service at a great price. That's the other thing. Access at a great price to a very expensive medication. If you are on one of the compounded versions of either Tirzepatide and do not sleep, Semaglutide will be, Novo Nordisk is not going to miss a beat. They're going to jump on this and they're going to figure out a way to get their medications either in a vial so they can say that they filled that space and take Semaglutide also off of the shortage list. Then you're going to have both of the two most popular right now. There are more coming, but the two most popular versions of GLP-1 agonist medications for weight loss and diabetes are going to come off that shortage list. That means compounded pharmacies, online pharmacies, you're not going to be able to get just, the generic Semaglutide or Tirzepatide in a vial anymore. That means you have to go through the big box. That means either you're going to have insurance or you're going to have to pay their cash pay prices. Thankfully, Tirzepatide in the lowest doses, 2.5 milligrams and 5 milligrams, Eli Lilly is offering through their online pharmacies. They're offering that. I did the video a couple weeks ago. They're offering through their Pharmacy Direct program where you can get 2.5 milligrams for 4 weeks for about $399 at 2.5 milligrams a week. So 4 doses of that for $399, and then you can get the 5 milligram dose for $549 for a month. So I mean, that's something you can do. It's like getting it through your compounded pharmacy, probably I would say maybe 30 to 40% more than what you were paying through your compounded pharmacies, something at the lower doses. But we have people that are on higher doses. We have, people who are on 7.5 and 10. And some, I don't have any personally, but there are some patients out there who have elected or needed to go to the 15 milligram dose, which is, higher than, whatever. That's a different subject. But right now, the urgency that I am bringing to you today, October 8th, is that I am seeing and I'm hearing from my colleagues in other states who are calling me like, hey, doc, what's going on with the compounded pharmacies in your area or wherever? I didn't know that they had no idea they were getting this and doing a great service with their patients. And I had to tell them like, hey, I don't know if you saw my video or saw the news, but a couple weeks ago, Eli Lilly decided to vial their medications, put their medications in vials, and then tell the FDA, hey, we fill the need. We're no longer in shortage, which is not really true. Because if I were to right now have a patient who is eligible to receive Tirzepatide through either mounjaro or Zepbound, put it in, they're not going to get it right away. The order gets in, it gets approved. Great. Hello. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for everyone who can get on the medication who needs to be on it. But you may not get this medication for a month or 2 months. There is a queue, there's a line of people who have been waiting for this medication before you. So as the boxes come in, some pharmacies aren't getting two or three 4 boxes of the medications a day. And there are hundreds of people who are waiting for that medication at that pharmacy. So you just got at the end of the line, you just got approved for it. Do not expect that you are gonna get it, right away. You can stand at that counter all you want and raise hell, but it's not going to happen, right? That's not the way it is. So that brings up a whole different, that opens up a whole can of worms. And I'm kind of happy that this is coming to light, especially now. And the reason I think this has been a problem for a long, long time. This is not a new problem here in the United States with medications. Especially, we have problems all the time with medications who come off a formulary, get on a formulary because of manufacturing issues, because of issues with their pharmacy benefits managers. Probably a term that you are just now hearing for the first time. I've talked about it in other videos. And their role in exactly how medications get on the formularies and how medications are priced are related to the relationship between manufacturers and the insurance companies. But in between, there's something called a pharmacy benefits managers. Look it up. Look on YouTube, go on Google, look up what a pharmacy benefits manager is. You'll see it on the back of your insurance card usually. They have names, and there are several that pretty much have 85% of the market share. It's like 3 of them. Not gonna name them here. I don't want them coming after me. But the point is that they have a big role to play in how these medications are priced, which is another issue related to this video, related to this problem. Because now, all of a sudden, people who are on compounded versions of Tirzepatide and Semaglutide in the very near future are going to face cash pay prices, which are a lot more than they're used to, a lot more than they could pay. And then now, even if it is available, in the pharmacy, widely available, let's say there's millions and millions and millions of vials there and pens that are produced by both Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. What does it matter if my insurance doesn't cover it because of my plan? My specific plan doesn't cover weight loss medications. Even if they do, it's not available. But if they don't, then I got to pay the cash pay price. But the cash pay price, all of a sudden, I was paying $400 a month. Now it's like $900 or $1,200. Availability doesn't mean access at this point because price, right? Those are the variables for access. Availability and cost. Those two things have to align in order for patients to have access. So if the cost is too high, I no longer have access to the medications, even if it's all over the place, right? So you, as the consumer, as a patient, as the person who is in need, must start to make a plan. What is the plan that I recommend? I recommend if you're on these medications right now, continue to pound on your lifestyle modification process. Fix your barriers. Fix your triggers or address your barriers, address the triggers to your food. Why are you going to food? Why are you eating food? Why are you eating these proportions? And what macros are you eating and how much and all that? Educate yourself to get yourself to a space where, I've always said this, that these medications do not have to be a lifetime medication, right? I want you to be able to fix your nutrition, fix your activity levels, and then fix your behavioral health issues that have brought you to this weight or this health issue or whatever it is. Do your 90%. Do the things that you can control, that you have your hands on the levers. Do those things, hone those things, tighten up on those things, and do the best you can, right? Do the best you can with those things. And then the last mile, I like to say, the last 10%, if needed, we'll find a medication. If it's a GLP-1, if you can't afford, whatever it is, that's the doctor's job or your provider's job to help you to figure out that last 10%. But the 90% is on you. Get on that job. Get on that. Do not rely on these medications to fix your healthcare issues. Your healthcare issues probably can be fixed at home without any medications at all. But the GLP-1 agonists have afforded us a way to control your appetite so that you can get on your behavioral health, so you can focus on your activity levels and your exercise and your resistance training. This is a big problem. This is a train on the tracks that most people aren't going to tell you about, and I will continue to tell you about this. This is coming. It's coming for you. If you're on compounded medications, Unfortunately, this is coming for you. And if your doctor's not talking about it, I'm talking about it. I'm telling you right now, if you're on a compounded medication, your therapy, your behavior, your lifestyle modification plan needs to be readdressed. It needs to be adjusted because the Tirzepatide definitely has already come off of the list. Semaglutide, do not be fooled, will come off the list very shortly because they're going to follow suit. They're going to find a way to get their medication off that list so they can make their money, right? So they can sell the branded medication, Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro and Zepbound through the pharmacy so they can make their dollar. I mean, they're in the business of making money. Yes, there's a public health aspect. I'm not going to say they're truly, all 100% bad companies because, these companies do a public service, but a large portion of it, this is about, making money, and they have to, talk to their shareholders and their investors and all those people, get their money back for the investments that they put into the medications. Now, we can get into a whole philosophical or, how this happened to the United States, how we got into this problem and how we can fix it is a whole different video, is a whole different topic to talk about. But right now, the issue is coming to a head. If you are on a GLP-1 agonist medications, the biggest issue is that soon, very soon, I don't want to say the rug will be pulled from underneath you, but your ability to access will be affected because it's not going to be available. It's not going to be available. And then your access will be doubly affected, maybe doubly affected if you can't pay cash pay prices and your insurance does not cover weight loss medications. That brings to another point. Just because your insurance company says, and they will say this, it'll be very ambiguous. We cover Ozempic. Yeah, go ahead and get your doctor to put in the script. Or we cover Mounjaro. Absolutely. But if you don't have the indication for Ozempic and Mounjaro, be very, very mindful. Ozempic and Mounjaro are diabetes medications. If you do not have the indications for diabetes, meaning you're a diabetic medication or diabetic patient with uncontrolled diabetes, that means hemoglobin A1C greater than 7. Likely they're going to put on, the insurance companies are going to put on some caveats. You're going to have try metformin. You're going to have to try other medications. Have you tried this and this and this? Have you failed it? Are there any side effects that you've had? They're going to ask the doctor all that for the pre-auth. And if you say, if the doctor can say, yeah, they've tried everything else and the patient can't get controlled or they don't tolerate any of the other medications that plan covers, then yes, they'll approve your either Ozempic or Mounjaro. Now, when you call your insurance company, they'll say that. They'll say, yeah, we cover Ozempic, cover Mounjaro, go through the process. But what about if you're not diabetic and you want to go on, you call them and you're not a doctor, you don't know. You just say, hey, you guys cover Ozempic, but I'm, knowing you want it for weight loss, but you don't say for weight loss, you say, do you guys cover Ozempic? They say, yeah, but you need it for obesity. Your specific plan that you pay a monthly premium for does not cover weight loss medications. Now you are stuck because they cover Ozempic, but Ozempic is not for weight loss. Wegovy is. Wegovy is for weight loss. So the proper question that you should ask them is, do you cover Wegovy? And then they should tell you yes or no, depending on your specific plan. Now, if your plan says no, you ask your doctor for Ozempic, he or she puts in Ozempic, nothing's going to happen. You're going to get denied because, you don't have the criteria for that because you're not diabetic, you're obese. You're obese, you're overweight, over 27% with, a qualifying condition, or you're over 30%. So then we have to go back in, we get denied, and we'll have to go back in and we'll put in Wegovy. We put in Wegovy, you'll get denied again because they don't cover weight loss medications. That causes frustration between you and your doctor, but the real problem is that the real issue is with your insurance provider. You're on the wrong plan. You're on a plan that doesn't cover weight loss. Same scenario with Mounjaro and Zepbound. You ask for Mounjaro, you're actually wanting Zepbound. They say, yeah, we cover Mounjaro. We put in all of the criteria that you have. None of them have anything to do with diabetes. We get denied for the Mounjaro, we put in for the Zepbound, and then we find out that your plan does not cover weight loss. That's, 2-3 weeks down the line. Frustration, anger, doctors putting it wrong. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. The pharmacy says it's the doctor's saying, I'm just doing what science and the rules say I'm supposed to do based off of what you have. And then we find out, in the end, your plan does not cover weight loss medications. So be very specific. And I've taught you here on this channel that mounjaro and Ozempic are for diabetes. Zepbound and Wegovy are for weight loss. Be specific when you're asking about what they cover. It'll help you from getting frustrated. Doctors aren't allowed to go and ask, go on and get on the phone for 45 minutes and ask for every single one of their patients what you are covered for under your plan. There's just not enough hours in a day. There's not enough people in the office for us to ask about every single medication on your plan and sit on the phone and go through that with your insurance company. It's definitely responsibility of the patient to know what medications are covered under the plan that you are on under the insurance company. Just a little tip for you to keep you from getting super frustrated with me and my colleagues about this medication and all medications, not just GLP-1 medications, all your medications. This is the patient education portion of the video where you're gonna need to look at your med list, see which one of these are kind of niche, which one of these are kind of high price. Before you make a change to your plan or before you jump on another insurance plan or insurance company altogether, look at your meds. Ask about these medications specifically. Do you cover this medication? What is the copay, right? And if there's more frustrations, even with that, you can do all that homework. And in the middle of the year, they decide to drop it off the formulary. That's another issue with the pharmacy benefits managers agreement that go between the manufacturers of medications and the insurance plan. They're the ones negotiating what medications land on the formulary of the insurance plans. And then you have your different tiers, and it's really kind of nebulous, let's say, how medications become on different tiers, meaning what the copay is and how hard it is to get approved based on your plan. But that's a pharmacy benefits manager's education piece. I would suggest that you go on YouTube. YouTube has some great videos on how pharmacy benefit managers work. And in the end, all of this is something that legislation, be honest with you, it's going to be one of the only ways that this is going to change, in my opinion. I don't think that this is something that any one of the three people in the line, in the deals that affect public health, are going to want to change on their own. They're going to have to be forced to do it through legislation, in my opinion. I don't see any other way for it to fix. But anyway, the biggest takeaway from this video is if you are on a GLP-1 agonist medications, either for diabetes or for weight loss, and you are on there through a compounded pharmacy, be ready. Make a plan for how you are going to continue your care going forward. If you need to change your plan, if you need to verify what your plan covers and doesn't cover, this is the time. Do not stand pat. Do not get caught flat-footed when they're pulling the rug left and right. So do not get upset with the compounded pharmacy. It's not them. They would love to. They're actually fighting this. Or they're saying, hey, yeah, great. You're pulling it off of the FDA shortage list, but we know that the true process, it takes months for you to ramp up production and get it out to the pharmacy. So there's going to be a gap in care for, I don't want to exaggerate, for let's say 1 million people. 1 million people are going to be affected by this. So there's going to be gaps in care for a lot of Americans based off this medication coming off the shortage list. So that's what I wanted to get across in this video. Very, very important news. So if you like the content in this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share with other people, especially this video is very important. Share with other folks who are on this journey, who are going to start this journey. And if they're thinking about GLP-1 agonist medications, this is the video to share. Go ahead and click on the link below for our TDEE calculator. And we have some other goodies in the description below for you too. We have a meal plan for you if you're on a lifestyle modification journey. That's something that you should be doing anyway. We've got a meal plan. We have a Dr. GLP-1 coupon code that you can use on Trifecta meal plans. We have a relationship with them. Great company that does meal planning, GLP-1 type meals for you. And I love them. I use them. I eat them. They're pretty good. So use that link below to go ahead and get your 40% off your first order with GLP-1 meals through Trifecta. Dr. GLP-1, use the code, get 40% off. Or you can pay full price. I would like, if it was me, I'd pay, you like paying full price? I don't. Anyway, stay healthy, stay informed, and we will see you soon.